table full of my talented colleagues out there who are a testament to how committed our organization is to women, right? However, I decided to kind of, steer not to talk too much about what Capgemini is doing specifically for women or for inclusion and diversity, and kind of talk a little bit more about, the topic that was given to us about creating digital landscapes for new age companies. How many of you would agree that your companies are in the middle of a digital transformation today? Yeah, almost all of you, right? How many of you would say that we are absolutely clear about what we want to do in the digital transformation? Yeah, chuckle, right? Exactly. So, digital and new age, yeah? So imagine Tara, a digital native, waking up on a working day. I'm sorry, I'm not good with the mic, so it may just like go in and out, but I'll stick close to it. So imagine, Tara, a young digital native, she wakes up on a working day, checks out her favorite YouTuber with 19.5 million YouTube subscribers. While she washes up, she asks Alexa about on her Amazon Echo on what the day is like. Ascertains it's a good day for a run. Meanwhile, she also quickly checks her news videos on her iPad. She sets out on her morning run. Siri starts playing her favorite workout playlist. And while she sets out on a run, quietly in the background, Nike Plus community adds her steps to the 85 billion and growing steps that they have, right? Fast forward an hour, she's sitting in a driverless car. She's having a video conference with her client in her car. She taps her smartwatch, gets several channels feeding her data to help her take an intelligent decision best suited to her client's business outcomes. She drives into the co-works, close to her place. She's greeted by Andrea. That's not your friendly neighborhood receptionist. It's a robo, which grants her access based on facial recognition. So hey, thank God I don't have to carry the card and the tag, right? She's greeted by her 25-year-old boss. She and a boss and a team gathers around the electronic data, and they analyze, all the data live streamed by multiple channels, and they generate models to suit the customer's business requirements. Is this science fiction? Not really. This is not even months away, right? Many of us are living this daily, or if you're not living this, we are certainly active users of digital channels in our everyday lives, right? We Swiggy, we Ola, we Uber, we do a whole lot of things. So if we have changed, so have our employees and customers. And I thought today we would talk a little bit more about how this change is affecting all of us and what we could do, a few of the things that we could do to kind of be better prepared while we shape our digital companies in the new age era, yeah? So what is the first thing that we think we need to do? How prepared are we to really truly herald, leverage, and optimize this exponential change that is spiraling around us, yeah? Okay. So the opportunity offered by digital technologies is clear, right? But the journey to get there is less so. Capgemini did a survey with MIT Sloan a few years back, and this is the conclusion that we came to, that yes, 78% of the companies say that digital transformation is key to the growth and survival. 81% say that it's key to the competitive advantage, no-brainers. But then what is the first few things that companies are grappling with in their digital transformation journey? Basically, digital is creating a new world order, right? And bracing for impact, preparing for big tectonic shifts and discontinuities is the first thing that you kind of need to prepare for, right? And what do you really need to do for that? When we did the survey, we realized that 36% of the companies feel that the senior leadership don't have a cohesive vision, or they don't share that vision, right? So the first thing for bracing for impact, really, to prepare for that huge shift and discontinuity is that, does your leadership have a clear vision? Have you defined the agenda? Have you defined your starting point, right? you have defined your starting point, you've gathered your organization around your vision, you've shared it with your teams, and then, have you translated the vision into action? Do you have action plans? Do you have designed governance mechanism? Do you have funds? Do you have a balanced portfolio to fund your digital transformation? Because so many times it remains, at the vision level in the boardrooms where you go on revisiting your action plan and say, oh yes, it is something that we need to do. But this needs to be backed by a thorough sharing of the vision, funding your transformation, creating that plan. Okay, great, you've done all that. But what of the rest of the organization? How does it go out of the boardroom? How do you plan to engage the rest of the organization and sustain the momentum? I think one of the best examples that I can think of is that Capgemini India created an organization-wide transformation program. They hired someone to lead it, thereby proclaiming to the 100,000 employees that this is the organization-wide focus. But of course, they hired yours truly, so we'll see how well the transformation engine is still on track. But yeah. Okay, so, so that's the first thing. You braced for impact. Your senior management has a vision. They have framed the digital challenge. They have picked a direction. They have a roadmap. So what do you do next? You head straight to the customer experience and the front-end functions and digitize them, because you think that is what will give the the impression of a digitally savvy partner to your clients. Do you do that? No, actually, most digital transformations fail because it remains peripheral, right? It does not address the core. It does not, it's not an enterprise-wide transformation which digitizes the core across people, process, and technology, right? So how you embed this new technology across your core, across your operations and processes, across your learning and development, across your performance management functions, right? How technologically savvy are your internal employee interactions? I mean, it's not good enough just to be smart with your customers and then have archaic, mail-driven processes for your employees. That just does not resonate, yeah? So you digitize your code, you digitize your processes. But what about your most important asset? What is your most important asset? Yes, people. So, the expectant faces of everyone who's looking up to you because you shared your vision to them, right? You said we are going to be this digitally savvy pioneer. So what happens to them? What are you doing about them? How do they gear up to fulfill the vision? You have a digitized core. How do they adapt to the digitized core, right? I think the answer, we all know the answer. The answer is talent transformation. The answer is reskilling and upskilling. And, I think there are very few people who think it's a goal for organizations anymore, reskilling and upskilling and talent transformation. It is a journey that you commit to, right? But tell me, how many of your organizations are in a major reskilling process? Okay. Yeah, okay. I thought the entire room would raise their hands, but yeah, I'm glad that so many of you did. But tell me, okay, the companies that are in the reskilling process, a talent transformation process, are you finding all the talent that you need within your company to answer, to fulfill all the solutions that your customers are asking for? So what do you do? Yes, Gayatri, we are not doing that, right? Capgemini is actually in a huge talent transformation process, but even we feel the need to, aggressively partner for IP, for expertise, right? Look at, engage with entrepreneurs. Tap the collective wisdom of the ever-growing freelancer community. Crowdsource. I think, when you look at your core, you look at digitizing how you can get talent in alternate models as well, yeah? So now we have braced for impact. We have made laudable strides in digitizing the core. Our people and processes are smart. We are doing talent transformation. They're getting smarter. So what do we do next, right? What do we do next as digital companies in the new age era? Do we continue to, function within our realm, or do we stretch beyond our boundaries? Do we disrupt beyond our boundaries? Okay. So we're seeing so many examples of collaboration to disrupt, these are not jargons anymore, right? You would have heard of Quirky. Have any of you heard of Quirky? Okay, good. It's a community-led invention platform. It's really cool. The concept behind Quirky is you have a product idea, and you can put it up on Quirky, and if other people think it's a good idea, you get traction on it. Essentially, it can be further developed by people on Quirky. So you have a lot of people with variety of skills. You can further, collaborate with them, develop it, and Quirky even funds it, right? They produce it and they sell it in the Quirky store, right? So wouldn't you think, why would someone go up on another platform and share their ideas? It's very simple, right? Firstly, you can get your product idea out there with so much less effort, right? You can learn from other people, thereby coming closer to a dream job. You can earn, if it's your original idea, you can earn royalties, right? So that's how the world around us is changing. I don't know if you've heard of Local Motors. They do this co-creation challenge of automotive design. I won't go into the details, but they had a challenge in 2015. I think they called it. Just a minute. They called it Urban Mobility Challenge Berlin 2030, right? And there were several ideas that came out of them. You'll be interested to know that within 1 year, one of the ideas has hit the streets of Washington, D.C. It's Ollie. It's not a cartoon character. It's a self-driving smart bus, right? So within a year, people came up on that innovation platform. They came together, designed something. They had an idea. Within a year, it's a reality in Washington, D.C., right? So that is how I think new age companies are changing. What do you do? What do you do apart from collaborating to disrupt? Do you look at sustainability? Poonam talked about sustainability, right? She said that we are here for the long term. We are seeing a lot of, you guys would have heard of zero waste households, right? People who don't believe in linear consumption anymore. Linear consumption is making, consuming, disposing, right? Thereby adding the weight on our environment. Exactly. So a lady called Ellen MacArthur, she's a retired British sailor, and she was on her boat for 71 days, and she realized the importance of reusing and having a kind of circular loop to consumption instead of just consume and dispose, use and reuse, right? And this has actually been taken up by companies. I mean, look at how our models are moving from consumption to usage. Look at Airbnb. They don't own anything. It's based on usage. Look at Ola, look at BlaBlaCars. So you will understand that look at our companies and look at as-a-service models. How many of your clients are asking to pay for a service, right? I mean, it's no longer that they want to deploy 200 FTEs and they want to pay for them, right? They want to pay for as-a-service. So it'll be interesting, right, when we are on this digital transformation in our companies, to think of how we can think beyond to collaborate, to disrupt, to sustainability, to solving social issues through digital. Capgemini recently had a technology challenge 2017. There were 82,000 registrations. There were 72 finalists who battled for 2 days. And do you know what the challenge was? The challenge was to create a platform to find missing children through technology, to combat child abuse and labor issues, child labor issues. So it's so interesting how our digital companies are evolving, are changing to the need of the hour, right? Okay, good. I'm forgetting my slide while talking, but anyway. Okay, so the final thing, right? What are the emerging imperatives? What do we really need to watch out for in this exciting digital journey that we've embarked on? Yes, cybersecurity, securing data as threats rapidly mutate is key. The other thing, which I firmly believe, is there's a threat of being outpaced by technology, right? If you don't invest in forward-looking capabilities, which continually look out for the next big thing, and how that will affect you, you will be left behind. So, research and development is key, yeah? And it has to be up there in your list of investments and priorities along with your vision. And finally, so we talked about, bracing for impact, digitizing the core, collaborating to disrupt, basically going beyond boundaries while you create your new digital age companies. And we talked about emerging imperatives. But I want to leave you guys with a thought. What are the cultural nuances of this great, big digital adventure? And are we prepared to work with virtual teams across nationalities, not for a few conference calls in a day, but completely, wholly, and immersively? Are we? Are we prepared to report to bosses, the 25-year-old boss of Tara? Yeah? Because believe me, a lot of things are dissolving, right? And so is this. As cities choke up with traffic, are we prepared to look at alternate models of work where we do not come to the same office at all? As digital, digital is dissolving the boundaries of brick and mortar structures, right? And I firmly believe that it's not only about women, right? But it is going to provide greater opportunities to differently abled people who find the brick and mortar structures difficult to maneuver, right? Are we prepared to take everybody from all walks of life along with us in this journey? That's it. That's the question, my friends, that's blowing in the winds, and that's my piece for today. Thank you so much.